I want to show you how we splice the PowerPro Hollow Braid. There's a lot of different scenarios why you'd need to do it, but like in this case here, we've got a little bit of chafage on our topwater reel or topwater line where it's been sort of going through the guides a few times. So we can cut that off, we can join a new section back in, and it saves us from having to re-spool or it saves our spool getting too low. Another scenario is, especially for topwater fishing, especially for GT, I like to have, might be using 80-pound braid, but where your finger is always on the braid when you're casting, just that last 4 or 5 meters, we can actually splice a piece of 130-pound hollow into there. So that's another example why we'd use a splice. All right, let's get into it, eh? For this demonstration, we're going to use 2 different color braids so we can easily see the transition of the braids going inside each other. What we need is a good pair of braid cutters, and I use the Daho splicing needle. It's quite thin-walled, so it slides inside the PowerPro HollowAce really, really easy. There's another alternate way you can do, and that's just with a piece of fine sort of piano wire or rigging wire, and that's another way that you can thread it through to pull the braid back through, but I prefer the Daho needles because they're specifically designed for this. Right, so what we have to do, we've got 2 pieces of braid here. So all we're trying to do is we're going to put one tag end inside the one length of braid, and then the tag end of that braid then goes into the other piece of braid. You only need about a 30 centimetre long splice on each tag end, okay? So I've seen them shorter, but 30 centimetres seems to hold, never had any problems. The great thing about the splice, it retains 100% strength. Splicing needle there, we just put the braid through the eye of it, and then we're going to start that. First insert about 30 centimetres down the braid on the other tag end. Okay, so the secret to pushing the needle in was actually not pushing the needle in, you're actually pulling the braid onto the needle. It makes it slide on a lot easier. Instead of forcing the needle through, it can bunch up and damage the braid. So we're actually just pulling the braid over top of the needle and then threading it, pulling it back over. So we've got that more than 30 centimetres now. We can pull the needle through the end with braid and pull the tag end out. It's very important to leave that tag end out because we want to pull this up nice and snug at the end. All right, so we want to bunch that first piece of braid up, and we're going to start the second insertion 30 centimetres along from the end. So we've put that second piece of braid into the end of the needle, the eye of the needle, and now we're going to insert it into the last piece of braid here. There we go, and we want to go up more than 30 centimetres. So we know when we pull the braid back down, it's actually going to cover it. You just got to massage it on there and also off the other end there. The biggest thing with splicing the braid is not to rush it and not to push it through too hastily. You can actually bunch the braid up and it sort of will ruin the splice. All right, so we've pulled that through more than the 30 centimetres. So we can pull the other tag end out. Okay, so now we've got both tag ends, and you can see obviously where they go into each other there. So we can pull the tag ends both tight, and then where it joins, we can pull the braid down, and you'll see there how it just goes back inside itself. Go the other way, and it's gone back inside itself, and that's a perfect splice, 100% strength. It's going to go through the guides nicely, and it saves you from having to re-spool, and it's actually a great idea if you want to join a thicker piece of line onto it as well. For the rods, reels, lures and terminal tackle and some great advice, call in and meet your team at your local Hunting and Fishing New Zealand store. And for more inspiring online fishing content, visit journeyofafisherman.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel.